I've had the great honor to be a member of the commission for the last decade. I was actually sworn in January of 1999. Came to the commission after a tour, if you will, in the private sector. I had been of counsel with one of the state's largest law firms, Haynes and Boone, and immediately before being a member of the commission, I was actually the general counsel of a small telecommunications firm. Had about 100 some odd employees, and we tried to make sure that networks and boxes in companies and in banks were connected. But since being on the commission, I've had the great opportunity to do the kinds of things you'd expect of conservatives. We reduced the size of the commission from over 1,000 employees on the day that I became a commissioner to less than 700 today. We've always been able to keep our spending within a small sort of range. We've only asked for increases over the years that have been really about the 4.5% range. In addition to that, I think I have the unique contribution as having been the only statewide elected official that turned down the $45,000 pay raise. But probably on the energy side, I've had the opportunity to make sure that we continue the work of doing what Texans have been doing at the commission, for the last many decades, to make sure we have abundant supplies of affordable and reliable and clean energy. I was initially appointed to the commission by the person who was our governor, has also just proceeded as the president of the United States, and the former president called me and said that there were 3 positions that were vacant in state government. And he actually said that I want you to consider taking one of these, and it was his idea. As he said in the announcement, when he announced me that I had what he said was the perfect blend of legal policy and a regulatory background. So I trust that Texans have found that as well. Well, I think for the first thing, I've actually been a commissioner for a decade now, so that's probably longer than many commissioners in the last sort of 3 decades in terms of the tenure. But I think what I bring to this race that's quite unique. Our voters are telling us, and they're telling me, that what they're looking for is someone who's a consistent conservative, who's a courageous conservative, who is a fighter, and who has a vision to apply conservative principles to the new challenges of today. I'm no doubt, I don't think anyone would question whether I'm a consistent conservative. I've been a consistent conservative in terms of holding the line on spending, regulating with a small r as opposed to a big one, doing the same thing as it relates to controlling and managing our costs. No one, I think, would doubt the fact that I'm courageous and been a fighter. I had the opportunity to earn my conservative spurs back when I was 33 years of age. As a young lawyer at the Department of Justice, where I fought against the Klan. Fought against the Klan even when there was a death threat against me. And so that same young prosecutor who was courageous enough to continue that prosecution is the same young lawyer that even 4 years later, as Assistant Secretary in the Office of Civil Rights in the Department of Education, took the position that we should not provide seats in universities or financial aid based upon race, and had issued a policy limiting the use of race-based affirmative action. So I was a fighter back then. I was a fighter, as a younger public policy maker. And I think most people know that I'm a fighter today. But that's what I'm hearing from our folks. They want somebody who's courageous and who's consistent. I've had the unique opportunity to address large numbers of Republican groups around this state. And so I've had the opportunity to talk to them about my position that says that, as it relates to immigration, of course we are a welcoming state and a welcoming people, but our first responsibility is to control that border and protect that southern border. Our first responsibility in doing that is to make sure that we have a combination of physical fences and virtual fences and actually boots on the ground to do that. That we should be about the business of making sure that we deter people from wanting to illegally come across that border by, number one, sanctioning those employers who intentionally go about the business of hiring illegal aliens. But even beyond that, they've heard me, our grassroots have heard me talk about the fact that coming to America is more than just simply coming to get a job. You come to be an American. You come, you learn English. In addition to that, you come in the right way. And beyond that, you come to participate and make a contribution to America. I've had an opportunity, even as a railroad commissioner, to talk about a wide range of other issues. I just had the occasion over this weekend, knowing that Texans and Americans are concerned about spending in Washington, D.C., and being concerned that what may be happening with the Obama administration is going to increase government spending, increase the federal government's tentacles into our lives, and then turn around and ask Americans for more money out of their pockets. And that's why this past weekend I signed Americans for Tax Reform's taxpayer protection pledge that said that if I become a United States Senator, I'm not going to vote for increases in the marginal tax rate. I'm not going to vote for a reduction in tax credits or tax deductions unless they're associated with a decrease in the marginal tax rate. I think that's important, but our voters around the state, even on the Railroad Commission, they've heard me speak to those issues many, many times. I think the first thing is that energy is an extremely important issue today. It's an important issue because, number one, on the power side, you cannot have economic growth without affordable electricity. And the best ways to get affordable electricity is the Texas way, which says we use all of the above. And I've been one of the people who's been urging this state to have a balanced approach to power generation, that we use natural gas, clean coal, where I led the state's effort to bring clean coal technologies into the state, that we go and turn the corner in the utilization of nuclear power, that we begin once again building nuclear power facilities in this state, that we complement what's going to be the core, being natural gas and clean coal and nuclear power. We complement it with wind and solar and biomass, and then we put the icing on the cake with greater utilization of energy efficiency and conservation. That kind of approach is the best way for us to provide affordable and clean and reliable power, but it's also a pro-growth strategy to deal with that question about global warming. I, for one, believe that the science is different than Al Gore. We differ on that point. But even beyond that, the best way to reduce CO2 emissions is not from some kind of strategy that utilizes regulations or taxation or litigation. It is to unleash the power of entrepreneurs and innovators so that they can go about the business of developing the next generation of innovative energy solutions. That's what I've been doing as a railroad commissioner for the last several years.